The body's self-healing properties are quite fascinating. This is no exception for the largest organ of the body, the skin. The top layer, called the epidermis, is constantly being shed and renewed. But when something cuts into the deeper next layer, called the dermis, you'll see blood and the body's healing superheroes spring into action to rebuild the layers of skin. Here's how the 4-step process of healing works. The first stage, hemostasis, is the skin's response to 2 immediate threats, the loss of blood and the lack of a physical barrier, the epidermis. Vasoconstriction occurs, where blood vessels leading to the wound tighten to minimize bleeding. Then red blood cells form a blood clot, which acts like a plug which stops the bleeding and creates a temporary barrier that prevents pathogens from getting into the open wound. Clotting proteins in the blood join forces with the red blood cells to form a fibrin net that holds the plug in place, and in just a few seconds or minutes, depending on how bad the wound is, bleeding stops thanks to coagulation. Once bleeding has been controlled, the skin begins to turn red, which leads to the next step, inflammation. To prevent infection, the blood vessels that were constricted now dilate to send special cells to the scene in a process called vasodilation. Among the most important of these are white blood cells called macrophages. These macrophages engulf and destroy any germs that may have gotten into the body through the open wound. This process is called phagocytosis. About 2 to 3 days after the wound, when the enemies of blood loss and infection have been vanquished, the proliferative stage occurs, where the body turns its attention to healing and rebuilding. Cells that are capable of forming skin and other tissues, called fibroblasts, gather at the site of injury and begin to produce collagen, which will form connective skin tissue to replace the fibrin from before. Epidermal cells divide to reform the outer layer of skin, and the dermis contracts to close the wound. Finally comes the 4th stage of remodeling, where the wound matures as the new collagen is rearranged and converted. Blood vessels and other connections are strengthened. Scar tissue will become stronger and fade gradually over the next several years as more collagen is added, but will only have about 50 to 80% of the strength of the original skin. Not all wounds heal equally. Generally speaking, more serious wounds take longer to heal. Individual factors also influence how quickly your body is able to recover from a wound, including age. Young people usually heal faster than older folks. Nutrition. The body needs a good supply of vitamin C to make collagen. Smoking. Non-smokers, on average, heal more quickly than smokers. Stress. Large amounts of stress can delay the healing process. Other infections or illnesses. Diabetes, thyroid disease, high blood pressure, and poor circulation, for example, can decrease the body's ability to heal. But when all's said and done, you should thank your body for its hard work, since its healing superheroes have saved the day and have bestowed upon you newly remodeled skin.